Welcome back to Fox Explainer. Today I am going to show you a comedy, romance movie from 2011 called Bad Teacher. Spoilers ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Watch out and take care. The movie starts with scenes of kids going to school and spending time in class. The movie then cuts to a scene where teachers are having a party in the staff room. The teachers talk about what they did last year. They say goodbye to a teacher named Elizabeth and tell her that they think of her as a member of the Jams family. They then ask Elizabeth to give a speech. Elizabeth says she has only been there for a year and that the people she will miss the most are her students. Then, we see a shot of her walking down the hallway, but she turns away from the students. She says she wants to get to know the other staff members better, but we see another shot of her turning away from a birthday party. She then says that she had a lot on her plate with 4 classes and planning a wedding, and that she doesn't need a blackboard or a classroom to set an example. Later, we see her smoking pot as she pulls her car carelessly out of the parking lot and almost hits a bus. She says adios bitches as she drives away. Elizabeth Halsey is a bad English teacher at GEMS, also known as John Adams Middle School, in Cook County. She is rude and greedy. She drinks a lot of alcohol, smokes weed, and watches movies while sleeping during class. She wants to quit teaching and get married to Mark, who is rich. She goes home and tells her boyfriend they are going to have sex, but when she gets there, she sees her boyfriend's mother. Mark tells her that since they've been together, she's spent $16,000. Mark's mom then asks her if she knows when Mark's birthday is. When Elizabeth says that the comment insults her, Mark's mom tells her that it was today. Elizabeth is surprised, but she tries to hide it by giving Mark a gift. However, Mark's mother tells her that this has to stop, and Elizabeth and Mark break up. She tries to get Mark to marry her, but she fails, and that's the end of their relationship. It turned out that Elizabeth didn't really love Mark and was only with him for the money. The movie then jumps ahead 3 weeks, and Elizabeth is back at work at the school. The fancy car she had before is gone. When she gets to school, she runs into Amy, who says she's sorry that the relationship is over. Elizabeth tells her that she caught her fiancé with another man, which is why the relationship ended. Amy then tells her that she knows Elizabeth was busy before, but that she thinks Elizabeth will be a good teacher this time. Lynn offers to take Elizabeth to lunch while she is sitting in a classroom. Elizabeth says she is busy, but Lynn says it's on her, so Elizabeth decides to go. During lunch, Elizabeth tells Lynn that the only thing she wants to do is find a guy who will take care of her, and the only thing she needs is a new pair of breasts. Lynn tells her that she doesn't want to do this, and that she's already beautiful. The next time we see Elizabeth, a rich man asks her to come to his boat. She tells him that he's married and invites his younger friend over. After they start talking, they end up kissing. But the man tells her that he is in training and that after he finishes, he wants to become an occupational therapist because he wants to do something important. This bothers Elizabeth, so she tells him that he is not good enough for her and goes back to the bar. The next day, a class of bored students watches Amy teach. The next day, Elizabeth comes to class looking like she had too much to drink. She turns down the lights and throws down her bag. A student comes over and tells her that her mother has made cookies for her. She doesn't talk back to the girl and tells another student to turn on the TV. The student likes that she shows them a movie on the first day. Elizabeth then takes a bite of the cookie and spits it out, which shocks the girl who brought them. She then says that the cookies are terrible. Later, Elizabeth is shown in the cafeteria as Russell, the gym teacher, asks her out on a date. She tells him that she doesn't date people she works with and ignores him. Amy then comes over and says that Elizabeth shouldn't have shown a movie on the first date. As Elizabeth walks away, they have a strange conversation. She walks into the hallway and sees a handsome man there. He said that his name is Scott DeLackart. He tells her he is the new replacement. Elizabeth notices that he is wearing an expensive watch and comments on it. Scott tells her that his grandfather made the watch and that it came from the family business. This makes Elizabeth curious, so she asks him about his wife. He tells her he doesn't have a wife and just broke up with a woman named Catherine. He then shows her a picture of his girlfriend, who appears to have big breasts. Later, Elizabeth goes to a doctor's office, where he introduces her to a woman who had breast surgery. Elizabeth tells the doctor that she'll go through with the surgery. At the clinic, the assistant tells her that she'll have to pay $9,300. Elizabeth tells her that her money is tight and that she will need some time. Later, she is seen calling her parents to ask for the money. When her father doesn't give her any, she goes and cuts the tire of his car. She also calls her ex to ask for the money, saying that he owes her because the whole thing is embarrassing for her. Her boyfriend then hangs up, and it is shown that Elizabeth is living with someone she met on Craigslist. When she hangs up, her roommate comes out and tells her he might be a little late on the rent for the month. Then he brings Elizabeth a bottle and tells her that they should get drunk. The next day, she shows the class another movie. In it, a girl tells her that they are going to have a car wash and that the last time they did this, they raised $6,000. Elizabeth is interested, so she goes to the main office. She starts flirting with him, but he seems more interested in dolphins than in her. She then asks the principal if she can watch over the 7th grade car wash. The principal says that Amy is supposed to do that, but she manages to persuade the principal to let her do it. She wears some revealing clothes to the car wash and starts washing the car. All the men there keep staring at her, and a policeman even hits a parked car. Then Scott drives up in his Audi, and she tries to ask him out on a date, but he turns her down. At the end of the car wash, Elizabeth sits in a car and adds up the money. Amy sees this and tells the principal that she thinks Elizabeth might have stolen money from the car wash. The principal tells her to leave him alone and to leave the room. The next day, Elizabeth is teaching a class when she hears that her students need to take a pretest. Elizabeth then tells the students that the tests are not worth it and that she is supposed to give them 45 minutes to start working on the test. Elizabeth seems to dislike Amy because she calls her a fake while she is helping a student. Scott goes to the cafeteria and talks to Elizabeth and Lynn for a while. Lynn is sent away by Elizabeth, but at the same time, Amy walks in and starts talking to Scott. She even says that Elizabeth is going to have surgery to make her breasts bigger, which makes Elizabeth angry. Later, at a meeting between parents and teachers, the parents tell Elizabeth that they don't think much of how she teaches the kids using movies. Elizabeth tells them that the school hired her because she is so good at what she does and that movies are just one of the many ways she uses technology to help her teach. She then tells them to enjoy the snacks, which are just a glass of water and a pack of Oreos. She then sends the class home, but as she is about to leave, one of the parents stops her and tells her that he would appreciate it if she paid a little more attention to his child. He then gives her some money. This gives Elizabeth an idea, and she starts to try to get other parents to give her money so she can teach private tutoring classes. As Amy and Elizabeth's dislike for each other grows, things start to heat up. Amy gives Scott a book called Eat, Pray, Love, and Scott tells her that it is his favorite book too. The two talk for a moment, and then we see Elizabeth smoking marijuana in her car. A student surprises her, and she tells him that the doctor told her to do it. The student tells her that she has some more cookies for her, and Elizabeth tells her to stop dressing like she wants to run for Congress. Elizabeth then tells the student that she is high and drives away. At the school ball, Russell tries to hit on Elizabeth again, but she turns him down again and goes over to dance with Scott. Then, they go into the hallway, where Scott tells her that he's interested in Amy, but Elizabeth tells him that Amy is a lesbian. This hurts Scott's heart. Elizabeth then goes back into the hallway and tells Russell that they should get high together. She also makes Lynn go get high with them. Russell and Elizabeth then continue smoking in the gym room. Later, Elizabeth hears from Lynn Davies, her best friend, that the teacher whose class did the best on the state test would get a $5,700 bonus. With this new information, Elizabeth decides to change the way she teaches by making the class read and study To Kill a Mockingbird before the test. But the change is too little and too late. The kids' quiz scores aren't good, which makes her feel even worse. Amy starts going out with Scott, and she becomes friends with the gym teacher, Russell. Elizabeth gets the answers to the state tests by pretending to be a reporter and dating Carl Hallaby, a state official in charge of making and giving out the tests. Elizabeth gets Carl drunk and asks him to have sex with her in his office, but she spikes his drink and takes a copy of the answers. A month later, Elizabeth's class did well on the test, and she got the bonus, which she used to get her breasts bigger. When Elizabeth finds out that Amy and Scott will be leading a field trip, she puts poison ivy on an apple and gives it to Amy. Amy gets blisters on her face and can't go on the trip. On vacation, Elizabeth seduces Scott. They dry hump, and Elizabeth secretly calls Amy on Scott's phone, leaving a voicemail that records everything and makes sure Amy knows about the affair. Scott, on the other hand, disappoints Elizabeth. Garrett's classmates make fun of and humiliate him on a field trip after he says out loud that he loves a classmate named Chase, but that Chase doesn't love him back. After that, Elizabeth comforts him by telling him that she is too shallow to pay him attention, which makes Elizabeth think about how shallow she is. She helps Garrett out by giving him her bra, and she tells everyone that she saw him with a girl from another school who was giving him a handjob so that the other kids won't make fun of him. Amy leaves school and switches desks with Elizabeth so the janitor W. Amy finds Elizabeth's journalist disguise and the practice test, which makes her think Elizabeth cheated on the state exam. Amy tells the principal and persuades Carl to testify against her. On the other hand, Elizabeth took unflattering pictures of Carl while he was unconscious and used them to force him to say she was innocent with the help of her roommate, Kirk. Amy accuses Elizabeth of using drugs because a student's tip that she was cheating didn't lead to her being caught. When the police come to search the school with their sniffer dog, they find small bottles of alcohol, marijuana, and oxycontin in pills belonging to Elizabeth hidden in Amy's classroom in a secret compartment in Amy's desk, which Elizabeth is kind enough to show the police. The county superintendent moves Amy to a different school at the end of the school year. Scott wants to start over with Elizabeth, but she rejects him in favor of Russell, with whom she has a lot in common. Elizabeth has decided not to get breast implants before the new school year starts because she thinks she looks fine the way she is. She also started a new job as a guidance counselor at the school. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more and hit the like button to help me out, and also leave a comment if you want me to explain your favorite film. Until next time, take care.